Hey there, everyone. My name's Amanda, and I'm an intuitive card reader, an energy healer, and a studier and learner of all things spiritual. Um, let's talk about patience. Today, I'm just being called to talk a little bit on this subject. I had a client recently who I was on the phone with reading cards for, and I pulled a card about patience, and she got really frustrated by that message. And I totally got it. I think it's funny that they want me to talk about this today because I feel that I am hardly a master of the art of patience, but I do feel that I'm learning and growing in that area, so I suppose I do have something to offer. Um, First off, I do want to say most decks that I own include some kind of card about patience, about waiting for the right timing on something before plunging ahead. Um, and in the tarot, traditionally, that card is called the Hanged Man. And that can be depicted in many ways. My favorite deck my favorite hanged man in a deck is when it's pictured as a bat hanging off a tree. Um, Tangent. But the hanged man, most people hear that name and they think, oh no, that's a bad card. But actually, the imagery and the message behind it is just this idea of being suspended in a holding place, waiting for the right inspiration, enlightenment, or guidance before taking those enlightened steps forward. So it's an idea that in the pause, there's actually a lot of expansion. When we take some time to go inward and reflect, we're actually able to make better choices. And also, sometimes, we're a tiny piece in a vast universe. So there's a lot of other things going on behind the scenes, a lot of other factors that are spinning and turning and changing outside of our decisions, that we sometimes need to take a pause to allow things to fall into place. Um, but I've been thinking a lot when I got this call and this woman was so frustrated by me telling her to be patient. She felt she had been with her situation, and man, I felt like her words could have been coming out of my mouth not too long ago. You say, I have been patient, I have, which is the most impatient way of putting it, right? Oops. But I think what it really is, we feel like patience is this passive thing, or it means that we're not really engaging in our own life, we're just allowing things to happen to us, but I really actually don't look at it that way anymore. But I'll use, I guess, an example from my life, and things I've been reflecting on. Like, I think what makes us impatient, I guess, is the first question. Why is it that we feel we can't possibly wait a second longer for that thing we're hoping for? And for me, I think I've really closely linked patience with trust. Uh, Trust in myself, also trust in a divine force for good that has my back and that is protecting me. Um, when we're impatient, what makes us impatient is not trusting that we will ever have that desire we dream of, and feeling like, well, unless I see it before me in this moment, right now, it's never going to happen. Like, that's the belief. That's where the anxiety and the worry comes from. And I think as I've started to kind of calm down and settle in, and I guess some of the spiritual experiences I've had have shown me that, and I really believe that each one of us has an entire army of souls in spirit that are really going to bat for us every day, and trying to make sure that we do get to achieve our dreams and live the life we're imagining. I think our dreams are of God, and use whatever terms work for you: God, spirit, universal life force, however you see the divine, that force for good. We have these dreams because they come from life's heart. I don't think those things are accidents. Those desires aren't accidents. And therefore, if we dream it, if we crave it, if we desire it, I believe we're meant to have it in some capacity, right? And I'll have another example later, but here's an example. Not too long ago, a little over a year ago, I was recording an album of original music. And I remember feeling so much anxiety about thinking it's never going to get done. It's never going to get done. So trying to rush the process and make it go faster because I needed to have it in my hand to prove that it was going to exist. Because somehow I guess I didn't trust in my own ability. I wasn't sure if I could trust the other people working on the project, not because they weren't trustworthy, but because I was used to people disappointing me. And so when you work on that level of trust of self and also that trust of others as an extension out of trust of self, now I've got a project kind of coming down the pike, and I was just talking to a friend about how I don't feel anxiety about it. I don't have a timeline for it. I don't need to rush it out for some reason. My focus is actually enjoying the process and enjoying the creation of the thing rather than I need to have the finished product. And to me, that's kind of a metaphor for how I'm trying to live my life is we rush to some outcome, but we actually miss the beauty and the richness that comes in between. And there is where patience comes from, right? Because you're not really being patient in the sense that you're not doing anything. It's that it's more about releasing an outcome, releasing needing to know what the end result is or what the culmination of your efforts are. And it's more about enjoying the effort itself, enjoying what you're creating and how you're creating it, rather than it needing to be some kind of finished thing to have value. And I use this in the example of a creative project, but we can also, a lot of people come to me with impatience about the romantic sphere, and I know that was me, You can ask any of my friends. How many times I was like really impatient about needing to find that person, or why isn't it working out the way I want, or why won't he do this, or and you think you know how it should go, you think you know what's best and how the script should be. And I guess in the last few years, I've really had to eat my slice of humble pie on that, because my impatience came from me thinking I knew best how it should all play out. And I pushed so hard for it to be this one certain person. And I wanted so badly, I thought I knew how it should play out, and I thought I knew how he should respond. And I was trying to control it, I guess. Impatience really comes from us trying to control it. And the funny thing was, as soon as I really let go of that situation and I just gave it, to the higher powers, and I just said, whatever this is meant to be, let it be. I have no energy anymore to try to force, push, control. I've done all I can do. And I really just released the reins. And I said, I trusted that whatever my plan was clearly wasn't working very well, and it wasn't making me happy. So maybe there was some other plan that I hadn't thought of that could unfold better. And I swear, pretty much as soon as I gave up that control, and giving up control really just means trusting. It means trusting that there's something bigger than you that's gonna catch you. As soon as I let go and surrendered to that and said, I will do my best. I will show up as my best self. That's what I can control. But maybe my outcome isn't the best thing. Maybe the outcome that I believe is right isn't in the highest good for everyone. And as soon as I released that outcome, something 100 million times better came into my life. And so while I was so busy holding on to the crumbs, I was missing the entire cake. And I think that lesson has really allowed me to relax a lot more and be patient and allow things to unfold as they will. And allowing doesn't mean you're not playing an active part in your own life or you're sitting on the couch waiting for things to come to you. It just means you are sitting in your own energy rather than trying to control or manipulate other people's. And it also means that when you're kind of in your own lane and you're self-focused, you actually magnetize the experiences that you had previously been trying to force. Because I felt like as soon as I relaxed, it seems counterintuitive, right? But as soon as I relaxed and I decided to be patient and I let things be as they would be, suddenly things started moving much more rapidly than I ever could have imagined. And things that I have felt like I was spending years and so much time trying to bring into my life all of a sudden fell into place seemingly without me doing anything to make it happen. And so I guess that's really what I want to say, is that I know that patience thing is not what anyone wants to hear when they get a reading. They don't want to hear it's not the right time, you need to be patient. They want to hear it's going to happen tomorrow, or it's coming really soon, or you want to be able to give people those really positive messages, but sometimes I can't be in integrity and do that. And sometimes there actually really is beauty in not receiving what you think you wanted. And sometimes it just means there's something going on behind the scenes that you don't understand. Like, it's funny because I used to pull the cards about patience all the time. And it would make me so mad. I would just pull more cards hoping it would change, hoping the message would change. And now when I pull the patience card, that actually fills me with hope, because it means to me that, it's like, okay, well, my people in spirit are just working on something better for me right now. I don't have to worry about it. They've got it. And I allow myself to relax into that instead. Patience just means you're on the right track and it's not aligned yet. The right timing hasn't come. And so, yeah, I think that's really everything I want to say, but I'd love to hear your comments about patience. Does it frustrate you? Is it easy for you? I know certain things are easier for me to be patient about than others, but I really do think there's a beauty in that allowing, and I do this sometimes when I start to feel anxious or out of balance, or like I'm in that forcing mode and not feeling very patient. I try to say to myself, allow, allow, allow. Because that feels like receiving, right? I'm going to allow this into my life in whatever way it decides to show up. And you give yourself space to really see more of the magic of the world that way. Right? I think if everything played out perfectly how we plan or how we think it should look, life would be pretty boring. So when you say, I'll be patient and I'll allow, you actually invite magic into your life and miracles. And I've seen it firsthand, so I'm not just kind of blowing smoke on this. But yeah, I really wish you all the best on your journeys and courage in whatever you're being asked to be patient about. But I believe everything that we desire and dream of is possible and is available to us. So From my heart to yours, have a great rest of your day.